What's up, Heather?
What's up, B?
Well, we're here today to help prepare our viewers for one of our favorite events of the year.
Okay, so this was something I knew nothing about until B's family kindly invited me, and I can't wait. But before we do that, we want to welcome you all to our little stable in the YouTube whiskey universe, and that was a little bit of a hint.
And if this is your first time on the racetrack,
Another hint.
go ahead and click the like and subscribe button. That way your saddlebags are always ready to make the journey with us.
And thanks for riding along with us. Whether you're a seasoned sipper or just here for the ponies and the pretty hats, we are thrilled you're here. And if you haven't picked up on where we're going yet, I'm a little concerned.
Now, here on Tortured Bourbon, we suffer through bourbon so you don't have to.
Suffer?
Okay, sometimes we just gallop straight to greatness. I don't know that we suffer too much, but
while you're galloping, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. We are... It's like B's an Avenger every time I mention X. So follow us on all the socials. We are obviously more reliable than a muddy track at Churchill Downs. And if you still haven't gotten where we're going, you're not gonna.
You know, it's these modern inventions like photo finishes, biometrics, and GPS tracking that have ruined the general connection between the horse and the rider.
It really does kind of take away from it. So, you know what? I'm going to give you that one, but I'm still going to call you an infield party pooper. A little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Well, you know, I shudder at the technological advances of you youths. But what do we have tonight for the peoples?
All right, guys. So today's episode is all about the Run for the Roses. That's right. It's our Kentucky Derby Special, where bourbon and thoroughbreds like me come together in glorious tradition.
You're still trying to find out if your parents were related.
That's why I'm a thoroughbred.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. So we're diving into the history, the culture, and yes, even the cocktails. We're going to taste the official bourbon of the Derby. We're going to up the stakes with a serious contender. But there'll be no mint julep mix here. Just straight bourbon knowledge.
And a julep made from scratch.
That's right.
We do it no other way. But first, you know there's got to be a little history with Heather. I got to tell you how the Kentucky Derby came to be. So, it kicked off in 1875 when Meriwether Lewis Clark Jr., yes, y'all, of those Lewis and Clark. So, you know Lewis and Clark had a good relationship till the end because clearly Clark named his kid after Lewis. But I'm wondering if they had a daughter named Sacagawea. I'm waiting on that info. But anyway, so he founded the race after touring Europe's most prestigious tracks.
So, my question is, were they sipping whiskey while building this track?
Absolutely. The two have been synonymous from the get-go.
Right.
So old Clark Jr., he organized the race at Churchill Downs, named it for his uncles who donated the land. That was very sweet.
It was very sweet.
Yeah. The first Derby featured 15 horses. They ran 1.5 miles and brought in about 10,000 spectators.
You know, that sounds like a lot until you understand that in a modern Derby, it's over 150,000 people in the stands and in the crowd.
Okay, yeah, that's a little bit more.
Yeah.
So by 1896, the race was shortened to the 1.25 miles we know today. And that same year, they started awarding the winning horse a garland of roses, which is why we have roses here. And that's how they got the nickname Run for the Roses.
But the real stars of the track are, of course, the horses, athletes.
We got to talk about them. So one of the first legends of Churchill Downs was Secretariat, who most everyone has heard about. There was actually a movie made about him. So in 1973, he killed it. He still holds the Derby record at 1 minute 59.4 seconds,
yeah, it's
which
amazing.
is phenomenal.
ESPN ranked him when they did their top 50 athletes of the century. He was 50.
Secretariat or his jockey?
Secretariat.
Okay.
Absolutely, it was the horse.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It was the horse. Yeah.
So, now then there's Citation, who won in 1948 and went on to claim the Triple Crown.
It's a big deal, y'all.
Yep.
So then there was Barbaro in 2006, who captured everyone's heart and then tragedy. That was awful.
That was awful. It
Yeah.
was
That's one of those like sports moments I remember watching. Like the the Louisville player who
broke his leg.
Compound fracture on TV.
They didn't have to shoot him.
All right. You know what? There's a difference there.
Yeah.
It was very sad.
It was.
Yeah, it was terribly sad.
You have American Pharoah that ended the 37-year Triple Crown drought in 2015.
And then the Cinderella story. Mind That Bird, which is a cool name.
Absolutely.
In 2009, 50-1 odds, dead last out of the gate, stormed the rail and won it all. If you bet on him, you killed it.
Yeah, that bird, he's my spirit animal. Absolutely underestimated. Probably bourbon fueled and somehow still crossing the finish line first.
Let's buy a horse.
Sure.
Let's buy a horse.
You've obviously never owned a horse.
And race it at Churchill Downs.
Okay, you've obviously never owned a horse.
And we'll give it our favorite whiskey before it runs.
Oh, good Lord.
I veto that.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we get to 500 viewers, I get to buy a Tortured Bourbon horse.
No, try like 500,000.
Yes, if we get to 500,000, if we get to 500,000 subscribers, we will buy a horse to try to run it in the Kentucky Derby.
And we'll name it Tortured Bourbon.
We'll name it Tortured Bourbon. Absolutely.
And while horses make history, bourbon makes it taste better. So the two have been paired for over a century. From julep cups to naming rights. In Kentucky, they don't just raise champions, they age them too.
Yeah.
So to be a thoroughbred, you gotta have some age on you.
You got to. So, and speaking of juleps, let's talk the mint julep.
Ooh, oh, these silver cups are the best.
There you go. Now, before it was the official Derby drink, it was basically a medicinal concoction. Back in the 1700s, people thought it helped with digestion.
And shout out producer Katie for making a phenomenal cocktail for us, friend.
8 mint leaves, 1 ounce simple syrup, 2 ounces bourbon.
Cheers to that.
Very good.
So, everything was medicine back then. Oh, no. Chew. I better drink whiskey. Did you start without me? He needed more medicine than I did. He needed more medicine than I did.
Now, by the 1800s, it evolved into a Southern classic.
As all good things do.
Crushed ice, fresh mint, sugar and bourbon in a silver cup. And in 1938, Churchill Downs made it official. Today, they sell over 120,000 juleps during Derby weekend. And those of us who are from the South are not sure that Kentucky is truly from the South. But for this, we shall allow it.
We're more from the South. But, how many of those are a mix with a little bourbon? And how many of them are made properly?
I don't know how many are made proper, but I got to tell you, this one
was made properly.
is phenomenally good. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all.
That is good.
Perfection.
Of course, that being said, I'm a huge mojito fan. So this is very familiar to us.
I
mojito.
love a good mojito.
Yep. Now that we've had a proper drink at the Derby.
So delicious.
A Google search showed that they do not, in fact, use a mix at the Derby. Everything is made from scratch.
Well, looky.
But y'all, the key, crushed ice.
Mm-hmm.
Crushed ice, simple. You gotta muddle your mint leaves. And you gotta have decent bourbon.
Decent.
Do you remember last year when you brought a bottle of Old Forester 1920
Yes.
to the Derby Day?
Yes.
Was there any left when we left?
No.
All right, y'all. So this is delicious, but we have to talk about the underlying bourbons that make up Derby Day. You cannot talk about the Kentucky Derby without Woodford Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon. It is the official bourbon of the Kentucky Derby. However, if you've watched our show before, you know that at one point it was Old Forester.
Yes, it was. Now, this is distilled in Versailles, Kentucky.
Of course it is.
Versailles.
Of course it is.
They've been producing whiskey in that area since the 1800s. But this current brand took shape under Brown-Forman in the 1990s. So to be clear, when you drink Woodford Reserve, you're not drinking an expression from the 1800s. This was an expression that they invented in the 90s to be a very popular bourbon drink.
Woodford Reserve was very purposeful.
Yes.
So it was meant to appeal to everyone.
Across the board to bourbon drinkers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the distillery is a National Historic Landmark. Mm-hmm. And my understanding is the distillery is absolutely phenomenally gorgeous.
We're going to go visit, obviously.
Can't wait.
For science. So here's what you should expect when tasting Woodford. You should have on the nose rich dried fruit, vanilla, thank you, sir, toasted oak, and a hint of citrus. It's, like we said, it's universally appealing.
Yeah.
There's
no
no
off
outliers
notes.
there.
There's no off notes.
There's no off notes. On the palate, we should get baking spice, toffee, and a little bit of orange zest. What should we get on the finish be?
It should be smooth and lingering.
Ooh, do you have to?
You have to.
You have to.
You have to let it linger.
Okay.
And it has a sweet balance of sweet and oaky with a mash bill of 72% corn, 18% rye, and 10% malted barley. So it's like a thoroughbred. Smooth, elegant, but just the right amount of kick on that backstretch.
And that's what they mean to be.
Let's see.
The word I use to describe Woodford Reserve is inoffensive.
Has a nice sweetness.
But that's what I'm saying. It's inoffensive.
It's inoffensive in the front. Has a little sweetness.
But not too much.
Yeah, definitely get the orange zest. Definitely get the spice. So their description is good.
Their description is on point.
It does have a little oak at the end, a little smoky oak. It does.
The thing I have with Woodford is I'm not upset about it, but I'm also not enthralled by it.
But there's a lot of people that we meet that Woodford is their favorite bourbon.
But most of the people I know who Woodford is their favorite are new to bourbon. New-ish. And it's their first favorite. And then when they get more and more into bourbon, they develop their palate. Because, again, this is inoffensive. It's not polarizing. It doesn't have strong flavors any certain way.
But that's how they designed it.
Oh, it's absolutely purposeful, and they do it well.
Yeah.
100%. But how many people have you known that start with Woodford as their favorite, that end with Woodford as their favorite?
I try not to end with anyone. I try to have long-lasting friendships and lives.
Oh my God.
But to answer your question, yeah, most people move on from Woodford
Most
who are
people
bourbon
move on.
drinkers.
Yeah. But it's perfect for the Derby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's a perfect
And you
sipper.
can buy it in a mega bottle. And Miss Terry buys the mega bottle.
And we love her for it.
Absolutely.
It's a classic that dog will hunt for me.
Now, they do up their game with things like double oak.
That's a different story. And for a different episode.
We're not stopping there.
No, we're not.
We're upping the odds with a serious contender. This is going to set you back a few more shekels in a bottle of Woodford, but it is the Pinhook Vertical Series 9-year bourbon.
Such a cool bottle.
Oh, yeah. Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Because that's what matters.
Gorgeous. Okay, it does matter.
$90 at the North Carolina ABC store.
That's its MSRP.
You know what? The bottle does matter. Okay?
It does.
Because people like me love it. I have only tried one Pinhook before this. And this limited series tracks the same group of barrels year over year. So each release offers a snapshot in time, which is really cool. This 9-year is part of their vertical series, and it has serious pedigree.
It does. It's distilled at Castle and Key, aged in Kentucky, and bottled by Pinhook. And of course, Castle and Key has a name, and if you want to go and understand the history of that name, go look at our episode on Colonel Taylor and the Bottle and Bond series. Now, every bottle and their vertical series comes with the name of a real racehorse. This one is Bourbon War, which frankly I think is perfect. Bourbon War missed the 2019 Kentucky Derby, but he did run in the Belmont and the Preakness. And he's, as far as I know, still racing today. So that's very interesting.
He's got my money.
And we'll put a picture of him up on there, but he's gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
But it's also just really cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they lean into Kentucky, right?
They lean into it, and that's why we had to feature it on
Absolutely.
our Derby episode.
Yeah.
So here's what we're supposed to smell and taste. We'll see if that happens. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're supposed to get on the nose maple syrup, toasted notes, and dried toasted nuts, not notes. Toasted nuts and dried fig.
There's a little molasses or
nuts
syrup in
there,
there.
too.
Yeah, a little nut.
Yeah, absolutely. Nuts and molasses.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Nuts and syrup.
Yep.
So on the palate, we're supposed to get spiced caramel, leather, and molasses.
Leather.
John
Wayne's.
Saddlebags. Or Bourbon Wars.
Bourbon War Saddlebag. Yep.
So what are we supposed to get on the finish?
Long and complex with cherry, cinnamon, warmth.
We have a friend that would like that.
Oh, yeah. We're going to give him a taste. Chances are he has a bottle.
Probably. That is so good.
Mash bill is 75% corn, 15% rye, and 10% malted barley. Very different than the Woodford.
It is on point. All right, so here's what I have to say about it. I don't want to offend Woodford drinkers because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And Woodford is exactly what it's meant to.
I don't want to offend 95% of the bourbon drinkers on our bourbon show, but we're about to kick it right.
Look, I'm about to bones this, okay? Woodford is universally appealing, and that's amazing when you're initiating your bourbon journey.
Yeah.
Woodford doesn't polarize, so there's not a lot of complexity there. Pinhook, there's different taste and smells from start to finish. And the cinnamon's there, the cherry's there, there's some vanilla. It's so interesting. And I love that.
Ooh, the cherry note at the end is there. The cherry note is there. The cinnamon's
there.
The cinnamon is throughout. And it's not cinnamon sugary.
No, it's spicy cinnamon.
Yeah, it's a step back from pepper.
Barely.
Oh yeah, just a step back. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could go with pepper, but
I completely get you. It's slightly sweeter.
Yeah, definitely caramelly in the front. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So if this is a doggone, I can't wait to hear what Pinhook 9-year vertical series is.
Man. So what's our proof point?
114.
Okay. I believe it. What do you think, B?
So it would move into cock of the walk for me, except I am going to muscle in that the MSRP is 90.
That's a good
point. So I'm not sure what you're paying outside of allocated land.
Remind me what regular Woodford is.
According to Wake ABC, you can get the Woodford Reserve from the ABC store for $39.95.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right on 40 for the Woodford.
Yep.
90 for the Pinhook.
90 for the Pinhook.
That might affect my rating.
Yeah. So that's why
they're completely different, though.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not upset. I want to be very clear.
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. All right.
Clearly, I'm not because I'm strength Hall of Fame.
I'm not mad at it. It is lovely. Normally we put the bottles up here, but we have these
the roses
lovely roses
for the run for the roses.
Take a nice little picture right there.
There you go. That's beautiful. Is it a hush your mouth or a cock of the walk? I'm gonna make you go before me.
So the problem for me there is this maple syrup, cinnamon.
It's so your palate.
Yeah. So,
it's breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's breakfast.
It's French toast.
Yeah, it's French toast. But it's not as sweet. We had a blue run several months ago.
That was maple syrup, but it was yeah.
But it's not that, right?
No, but I almost like the complexity the spice adds.
No. This is not too sweet.
No.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I agree.
That one can get overwhelmingly
very
sweet.
Yes,
fantastic, but overwhelmingly sweet.
Yeah.
It even describes itself as
dessert
and maple syrup.
Yep.
This one doesn't. This is tough.
Hi, hush your mouth.
I feel like at this point y'all need to have like in between your ranking points.
Why is it not cock of the walk?
I don't know. What are you ranking it? I followed the rules. He didn't.
As B's wife, I can tell you It's hard for him to make a decision when he's that torn. So that means he is really, really torn right now.
I'm gonna go with Cock of the Walk.
So,
However,
okay, I was afraid to rank it that because I was afraid you were going to make fun of me. For ranking too many things, Cock of the Walk.
I have a question, Heather. Now that B has ranked it Cock of the Walk, do you change your mind?
Well, here's what has to happen. You have to pour me a little bit more so I can decide for science if I rank it Cock of the Walk. All right. You're right. I didn't want you to make fun of me for ranking it too high.
Say
it. That's Cock of the Walk. It's amazing. It's so good. And Kentucky Derby gods, you might want to rethink which is your official bourbon, because give people Pinhook straight and call it your bourbon of the day.
It's great. It's fantastic.
It's so good. So, B, we both ranked it Cock of the Walk.
We did.
We did.
So, now we're going to help you out. If this is your first time watching the Derby.
Here's the rundown, because honestly, the Derby was so new for me. B's family very kindly invited me to join their Derby tradition.
Special shout out to Cousin Terry.
And I'm so appreciative because I am incredibly competitive. I also love dressing up, so this was literally the perfect event for me.
And last year she won $38 and we won nothing.
She did. So being competitive and dressing up and drinking bourbon is kind of my mecca, honestly.
Yeah.
So the Derby, it airs on NBC usually around 6:57 p.m. Eastern. There's 14 races on Derby Day, but the main event is 12, which is my favorite number. So the horses walk out to My Old Kentucky Home. It's going to give you chills when they sing it.
And Cousin Terry always hands out the lyrics so that
Always.
everyone can sing along. We have to sing.
Yep.
Always.
So let's talk about betting, because it can be confusing. So if you bet on a horse to win, that makes sense. It means the horse has to come in first for you to get paid. Now, if you bet on a horse to place, it can come in first or second. If you bet on it to show, it can come in first, second, or third. Now, if you're really wanting some spice, a little bit of rye to add to this, you can do an exacta. That means you pick the top 2 in order. Or you can do a trifecta, the top 3 in order. Or just dump all the rye and go for the superfecta, which is pick the top 4 in correct order.
So that's like trying to guess 4 bourbons blind in exact order. You might hit, but you're probably not going to.
Yeah.
Like us when producer Katie does an Aussie Rules.
Yep.
Except when y'all did the Bottled and Bond series. Y'all got really good at that.
We did.
We did. We were zoned.
So, dress up, pour julep if you must. And when your horse comes in dead last, here's what you say. Well, that horse ran out of gas on the backstretch, but it looked really good coming out of the gate.
And if your bourbon tastes better than your bet, you're already a winner. So, y'all, thank you so much for spending Derby Day with us. Whether you're betting big or you're just here for the bourbon, we hope you learned something and we hope you laughed a little.
Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, where we talk bourbon, we bet bad, and always bring the banter.
And you know what? Cheers, y'all, and may your bourbon be strong and your pony be fast.
Unless it's my pony. Then I hope yours stumbles out of the gate. Cheers, y'all.
Rude.